Welcome back. Let's focus in on Arizona, hazards and disasters that have occurred here. All right, things to ponder. Think about this. Are we safe from natural hazards here in Arizona? Yes or no? I hope that was a quick no. So if not, because we're not safe. We have hazards all around us. What sort of hazards do we have here? What sort of natural hazards, those are the threats, do we have or could occur here in Arizona? Well, some of the natural hazards that we have here in Arizona, the threats of these things happening include flash floods, severe thunderstorms, landslides, earthquakes, oh yes, earthquakes, wildfires, drought, Arizona, volcanism, that means volcanic eruptions. Oh, there's volcanoes in Arizona. Oh, there's a lot of volcanoes in Arizona. Heat, cold, just to name a few. Tornadoes, we get them every once in a while. I think there was one a couple years back, came through Maricopa County. We get them. Yeah, we get all that business. And these are just to name a few. So going back to that top natural, those were hazards. Those are the threats. Those things could occur. But as far as in Arizona, what's the top natural disaster? The thing that kills 10 or more people, 100 more people affected, state of emergency declared, international aid requested. Of those events that reach that level, what's the top? What's the most often natural disaster of this list here in Arizona? Wildfires. Wildfires. We get thousands of them every year. Not all of them reach the level of a disaster. Again, for the wildfires in the middle of nowhere, and all it's doing is burning trees in the middle of nowhere, it's not a disaster. It doesn't reach that level. It's still a hazard. They still occur, but they're not a disaster. Excuse me. So, since 1953 in Arizona, there's been 98 major disasters declared. That's 9th in the U.S. So we live in the 9th most dangerous state in the U.S. More than half of those declared disasters have been wildfires. Again, they're very common. In 2020, so 2 years ago now, there was more than 2,500 wildfires in Arizona. That's just in Arizona. All right, more than 1,900 of those. That's what, almost 75% of them, or 80% of them almost, of those are caused by human activity. Come on, people. We got to do better. In 2021, this past year, there was over 1,100 wildfires just through August. That's all the data I could find. I think we might have just stopped counting. I cannot find any other data to finish out through 2021. That's all I got. So, my guess is, obviously there was hundreds more, if not thousands more. So, again, we get thousands of wildfires every year. Not all of them, not many of them, rise to that level of disaster. There was one. The largest wildfire in Arizona was the Wallow Fire. This was back in 2011. That consumed more than 816 square miles in the state. That's an area more than half the size of Rhode Island. So half of another state, essentially, was burned. That's how big this thing was. Arizona's a bigger state, though. So kind of percentage-wise, it was much less. But, it was a large fire. 816 square miles. That's a lot of miles. So again, most disasters that have occurred in Arizona are wildfire related. Kind of second on that list, flash floods, and other floods, I should say. So 14 Arizona floods have reached the level of a disaster in recent decades, which does include some flash floods, but there are many types of floods. More on that in a later unit. So we are not safe here in Arizona. Again, these are just disasters. This isn't necessarily the things that kill the most people. These are the things that meet that criteria of 10 or more people killed, 100 more people affected, state of emergency declared, international aid is requested. So it's got to be a certain level before it becomes a disaster. So that's a little bit about Arizona, what we got. As we go through the year, as we go through each unit, I will always try to tie in how this, how we see this, how this affects Arizona as we individually talk about each disaster, in which each unit kind of will. Again, this unit is just more breaking down as an introduction to natural hazards and disasters. So let's go ahead and pause there. When we come back, we'll talk about the benefits of natural hazards. There's good behind all of this death and destruction. I guess we'll see when we come back. See you in a second.